Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Ecosystem Chronicles. I'm Dina Moskowitz. I'm CEO of Partner Optimizer and host of this episode at Ecosystem Chronicles. And I am live at the show floor of the Partnership Leaders Catalyst 2024 conference with amazing partnership leaders who are all gathered here. And this episode in specific is one of my favorites because IPPs are dear to my heart. For those of you who see my LinkedIn profile, I say IPP, yeah, you know me. And and so anytime I have someone who comes along who's an expert in helping their clients build an ideal partner profile and understanding the nuances and the power of data-driven IPPs, I'm excited to have them here. But regardless of what I'm excited about, this is a partnership leader who actually heads up the EMEA Partnership Leader Group, and she is also a 10-year veteran of channel partnerships and alliances, and she is Eleanor Thompson out of London. She is actually a channel consultant and CEO founder of her own channel practice called Branchworks Consulting, right? And her name is Eleanor Thompson, for those of you who haven't guessed it yet. And she is really one of the most dynamic and intelligent and thoughtful channel partner alliance leaders in the sector, and has an expertise in particular with AI companies as well. So I am super excited for many different reasons and many different angles, because we're an AI company who has our own channel, but we're also helping other people find partners. And so thank you so much for being here, Eleanor. It's really great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So the topic of our conversation today, or the title, is, do you really need those partners? Because when it comes to building a partner program, are you really pulling in the right partners, or are you pulling in the partners you think you should have, or that sound sexy or sound like they're, the qualified ones? But do you really know? And so I'm going to let Eleanor go into that and how we started talking about that. So
absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I'm actually going to talk slightly first about partner activation, because it's so related. And I speak to a lot of my clients, and they often come to me and say, look, we've got all of these partners and we're struggling to activate them. We've got hundreds of partners and only a small proportion of them are actually bringing us revenue. And the one thing I always say about partner activation is that it starts so much earlier than people realize. A lot of people think, we sign a partnership, we sign the contract, and then we start to activate our partners. That's not when it happens. Partner activation starts way earlier than that. It starts in your discovery. It starts with your ideal partner. Are they the right partner for you? Are you asking the right partners the right questions in order to get the right partners? And then you'll start to be able to generate revenue with them. If you haven't found the right partners initially, you're never going to be able to activate them. So that's why a lot of companies end up with hundreds of partners that they simply can't activate, because they haven't designed the appropriate ideal partner profile early on. And quite often, we'll go to people and you say, do you know who your ideal partner is? And they might think they do.
And they talk very generally, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to specific.
Exactly. And they might describe, a certain partner that they have and think, they're pretty ideal. I'm like, what is it about them that makes them ideal? Why is that partner that you have really successful? What is it about them that makes it successful? And quite often they can't define that either. So actually really sitting down and identifying an ideal partner profile, getting that down onto paper and looking at the different things that you need to design that is going to help you as a partner leader to go out and find the right partners. But then it's also going to help other people within the company to identify them as well.
Exactly.
We all know how many salespeople, people across the business will have partners come inbound that want to work with them. And if they don't have anything to cross-reference that with, to look at and say, okay, this company's come to us and said, I would love to partner with you. If those teams don't have anywhere to go to look at to say, do they fit within our ideal partner profile? Are they likely to be successful? They're likely to generate revenue. Can we activate them within our partner program because they fit into this? Or are they going to be part of this very dispersed partner network of which only a small proportion of them are generating revenue?
Exactly. They may have one specific deal, but that didn't mean they were your ideal partner, right?
Absolutely. And the one thing I always say to people when they don't fit within an ideal partner, if they have a deal, really ask yourself if they need to be a partner, or could you just do a quick pass-through agreement that will allow you to transact that, and then put them through the actual process and define whether or not they're a good partner for you. You can still transact that deal.
Oh, it's so true, because if you make them an official partner, then you're committing to put all sorts of extra resources into them. And do you really want to do that if they're not qualified?
Absolutely. It can be really resource heavy to bring on a partner effectively, to put them through, all of the onboarding process, the training, the certifications if you have them, the co-marketing, all of those different things. That is so worthwhile for the right partners.
Right.
And if you're spending all of that resource on the wrong partners, the right partners are going to miss out.
Exactly. And your own people are going to be frustrated and not make their numbers.
Absolutely. Like, we want salespeople to be working with partners as much as possible. And if we've got the wrong partners within our ecosystem that aren't, fitting within our ideal partner profile, it would be unsurprising that the sales team would be like, well, why would I work with a partner? Because they're not doing the right thing, but actually it's just that they don't fit within the ideal partner profile.
Exactly. So let me ask you this. So sometimes we are a partner leader who inherits a partner ecosystem when you take on a new position. And you have this whole partner ecosystem that you don't yet know who's your ideal partner and who not. And you do know who's driving revenue and who's not. But what are the steps you can take when you're inheriting a channel to go in and figure out what those right partners are and build your IPP and score it?
Absolutely.
What do you do?
If you have a big partner ecosystem already, you already have partner sign, even not a big partner ecosystem, to be honest, but I would build a health matrix. That's one of the first things I do with my clients in the kind of discovery phase, is build a health matrix based on what's important. And I'll weight that health matrix based on what's important to the company. So I ask them, why are you working with partners? Is it to generate revenue? Is it to generate leads? Is it marketing? Is it what is it to do? Mm-hmm. I would weight that part heavily towards the reason for partnering, put their partners through the health matrix. And then off the back of that, we look at the top performing partners and think, why are they performing well? What about those partners makes them special? And then that helps start to define your ideal partner profile. But you've also got to ask the right questions of your business as well about what you want to be built within that ideal partner profile. Like, what do you want their expertise to be? Where do you want them to be based? The size of them, the type of partner that they are. And then I also go down as well to a cultural level with my clients. And I say, is it important to you that your partners are a culture fit? Is it important to you that they have a big sales team? Sometimes it's not. Some people, it's not important that they're a culture fit. But for some companies, it really is.
Yeah. No, and absolutely, because if you're not culturally aligned, it's hard to really invest the time and have your people get along with their people to then affect the right transactions, which sometimes are huge and require the co-selling and showing up together and marketing together, collaborating.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So what advice do you have for a new company that's just getting their partner ecosystem together? They may be being told you need alliances, but you also need channel partners, and you may also need the implementers, right? There's all sorts of different partners. And so how do you build the ideal partner profile, but also accommodate for the different types of partners to surround your customer?
Yeah. You don't have to do everything on day one.
Okay,
so I always say to my clients, you don't have to do everything on day one. I don't recommend partnering with many different partner types all at once.
Right.
I always ask them, why are you partnering? What do you need partners for? And then that helps define this partner type that we should be starting with. Is it to generate leads? Is it to generate revenue? Is it to, support you with services? And that will help define the partner type that you should go after. If it's to help you with services, then you will be looking at maybe an SI partnership. If it's to bring you just leads, and then maybe you're looking at a resale partnership. What is it that's actually driving your decision to partner? Therefore, where should you start? And then you can start to iterate, further down the line. Your IPP doesn't have to stay the same forever.
Right. Well, that's a perfect segue to my next question, which is that how often do you need to reevaluate your IPP?
Yes. It would depend on the company and how quickly you are ramping your partner program. In the initial stages, I would say you have check-ins monthly, and that doesn't mean you change it monthly at all. Don't be changing your IPP monthly. That's very confusing. But check in every month. who have you brought on in the past month? If you're ramping up quickly and you're bringing on partners monthly, who have you brought in? Who have you had interest from? And where do they align with your IPP? Are you getting interest from partners that are way outside of that? And just make note of that. Or have you brought in partners that maybe don't align, and ask yourself why they were brought in, how they were brought in. Do you need to provide more education to the rest of your company? Do you need to iterate? What do you need to do? Further on from that, I'd say quarterly and then 6 monthly. You'll get to a point where you stop bringing on as many partners, and it's far easier to kind of stretch that out.
Got it. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And what about, given that you're based in London and you are dealing with EMEA very often, are the IPPs different by country, and how so?
They can be in terms of partner type based on regions. So some regions work really, really similarly. So the UK and North America and Australia to an extent work quite similarly. So you might want to look at, obviously the regions within that, but the partner type might remain the same. You could look at things differently when it comes to like culture, for example. It'll be more important when you start to look at countries with different like language capabilities and stuff like that.
Right.
Like language capability is something else that comes in within IPP for some companies as well. So then you'll start to make tweaks based on the region that you're going after. If you start to expand into regions outside of that, like Latin America and APAC, they have different ways of working with partners. They have bigger models, they have 2-tier models, they have distribution, like all of that starts to add new layers to it.
Right. And so when you're building your IPP, okay, here's one more question, because I think we're getting closer to the end of this. But I think it's really important, because for companies like SaaS companies and hardware and cloud infrastructure who are going to market through 1- and 2-tier channels, how important is it to refine your ideal partner profile and then share that with distribution versus distribution saying to you, this is what we have for you? Like, do you see that happening more and more?
Yeah, I think it could happen more. A lot of people, like I was saying at the start, they don't document their IPP as much as they could. So I think if it's documented, if you have it available and then you are able to share and communicate it to other people, absolutely do that wherever you can, because that is just going to help you find and source the right partners.
Yeah, agreed. Well, great. So I think that we're close to the end of this session. Before we leave, firstly, I have 2 questions for you. The first question is, what advice do you have for partnership leaders who are looking to grow their career in partnerships? And the second one is really, how's it going here at Partnership Leaders so far?
The piece of advice that I have for people looking to grow their partnerships, experience, I think connect with as many people as you can in these networks. Ask the questions, because it can be really complex. It's the most cross-functional role that any company has, and there are so many different people that you can learn from. So ask the right question. Ask the question, even if you think it's scary, even if you think it's stupid.
Correct. Yeah.
Go and learn from as many people as you can. There's so many people here to learn from. There's so many people within the partnerships community. People reach out to me regularly on LinkedIn and say, "Can I just grab 15 minutes of your time?" Do that.
Right. It's great advice.
Yeah.
You're right. We're very approachable, I think, as a community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And this conference has just been amazing. I've been to some great keynotes. I've met some incredible people. I met friends at this conference last year that have our friendships have just grown and grown this year, and we're all each other's biggest fans when we come in and we're doing talks. It's been amazing. It's the people and the keynotes.
Exactly. I think, I came year 1 and I came year 3, and I feel like, I've seen such an incredible growth and difference. But when you come the first time and then you get to come back, there's so much, you get to reconnect over and over, and it really does create that sense of community. And I'm glad that we are now partners as well in Partnership Leaders, but also beyond. And I'm really excited to continue to work with you.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Everyone, thank you to Eleanor Thompson, CEO and I guess chief founder and principal of BranchWorks, and look her up on LinkedIn. Have a great day, everyone.